So if you stumbled upon this video and you're a first-time father in his first year, I think this video can help you. I'm a father of three, and I've gone through the first year of fatherhood 3 times. And I know the mental anguish it can have on the mind. And I know when I went through it, I had questions that I sometimes kept to myself and would never address internally. And it made fatherhood a lot more difficult. 5 years into my fatherhood journey now, I have a 5-year-old son, a 3-year-old daughter, and just recently a almost 1-year-old daughter now. And I think at this point in my life, I have the experience, I have the maturity, and I have the time to make these videos addressing some of those questions that I think can really help a new dad out there who is struggling in their first year. So am I being weak if I sleep train? With my first son, 5 years ago, when he was born, we never had to sleep train because he slept like a baby. He was the perfect sleeper. Never cried when we put him down, and by week 10, he was sleeping through the night, and we thought we had it easy, right? And then my daughter came around, and she was the second baby of the family, and yeah, she didn't sleep in her bassinet. She didn't really sleep in our bed, right? As bad as that sounds, go sleeping. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And yeah, we didn't sleep train her till month 5 or 6, and yeah, she would cry for up to an hour sometimes, and we would check up on her and do the cried out method, and I want to say it worked, right? But I don't know if we had another option, right? Because she wasn't sleeping anywhere, and so we tried it, and slowly it got better, and yeah, once she transitioned to her crib, it got a lot better. So maybe it did work. I don't know. And then with our third child, who just turned 1, yeah, the sleep training didn't work. We ended up, and as bad as it sounds, having her in the bed with us, in between us, on a bit of a protective mattress, making sure she could breathe, obviously, right? We were extra careful having her in our bed and having her, in the kind of the circular pillow with the border, right? So she wouldn't be able to roll over, and that's a big no-no, right? In with sleep, but we had to survive, right? We there was no use forcing something that wasn't working. She would just cry all night, right? Our third one. Just we felt like co-sleeping was the only option for us to have any energy left in the day. And even though it was a big no-no, I don't know. It's easy, to be judged, right? To say, you have to sleep train, you don't have to sleep train, you shouldn't co-sleep, right? There's so many opinions out there that like until you're living it, until you know what it takes to actually execute, and you're fighting your own demons with sleep, it's easy for people to judge, right? But I think the most important thing is sometimes you also have to survive yourself, right? As a couple, right? As a father and and your wife, like, it's okay sometimes to do things that are out of the ordinary, right? Like co-sleeping, which is considered unsafe as well. But we take the proper precautions, and we we did what we had to do. And I guess my lesson in all this is that I had three different kids, and the first one we didn't have to sleep train. The second one we did, and it somewhat helped. And the third one, yeah, we just had to sleep with her. And because they are three different kids, right? And they present three different problems and three different situations, and it's not a one size fits all, right? So don't be afraid to break free from the message boards, right? The people that think they know it all, and there's one way to do it all, and I'll tell you, there's not, right? Because I got three, and we did it three different ways, and I think the more important thing is, when we decided to co-sleep with our third, it wasn't perfect sleep, but we at least got like 2 hours of sleep, right, before she woke up, and we get better from time to time, but that's what we felt we had to do because nothing else was working, and we at least had to have some semblance of mental and physical fortitude to get on with our day, right? Because we had three kids at the time, right, in addition to a newborn, and so sometimes you just got to do what you have to do and to make it, right? Sometimes you don't force something because that's what someone tells you you have to do. Sometimes you got to just roll with the punches and be flexible enough to know, like, hey, this is a different problem. Maybe this is not the same problem that some other parent had, and it's your child, right? Like, don't be flexible in your thinking, right? And that's something fatherhood has taught me, is that sometimes, or all the time, there's just not one textbook. You can read a million books and think you have the right way, but every child is different, and so feel free, from my point of view, to do what you got to do, right? Because it's not easy those first few months. By week 14, you're probably in the heat of the sleep regression, and you thought I was gonna get better, but the sleep got worse. And sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, right? You have to do what you gotta do, because there's no use forcing a cried out method if that means it's gonna get worse for you, right? If you're gonna be up all night listening to them crying, right? So yeah, man, just be flexible and don't have too many people in your ear, right? Do what you think is right. Go with your gut. Just for once, just kind of freestyle it, and I think that's what fatherhood is, right? It's a lot of just freestyling, calling audibles, and just rolling with the punches, and making decisions. Some decisions sometimes I don't go by the book, so good luck out there, right? But don't be too hard on yourself.